Okay, here we go. Purpose now. What does that mean? That means that you and I, in our ordinary everyday life, can be living into our purpose. What's our one purpose? You know me, I've been talking about moving from our day job into our service to humanity. Moving from a place where we're just making money to where it's about people, planet, profit. And aliveness, prosperity, and genuine prosperity, a prosperity of finances, a prosperity of relationship, a prosperity of self, right? So we've been coming across this bridge, but purpose now. So each one of those areas, the three areas of Freedom Mountain, our relationship with ourself, there's a purpose for that, for us to awaken, for us to step into all of who we are, right? There's purpose in our relationships, to really step into who we are for our relationship and create and manifest and rest into all of that. And then on top of that, there is the purpose of being involved in our fulfillment, our work, our deepest work, serving humanity, I call it. So we've been talking about those three purposes, and of course a fourth purpose would be all of those actually tied into one, and that's what I want to talk about today. Purpose now is one purpose, is just this moment of purpose. What does that mean? Here's how I want you to think about it. It's about you being alive now, you stepping into as if, right? The Dalai Lama says we don't have to do so much as we have to live as if. Right? As if we are on that purpose right now. And as we evoke and as we internalize, where it is that we want to go and what our freedom looks like and how it is that we want to live and who we want to be in the village, and we start asking those questions and getting clearer and clearer and clearer, we can start actually to live that now, even though you are not fully living all of that. Let's be clear, right? So you're not living all of what in the realm of your territory, of the territory of Freedom Mountain. You're actually living a life that is not like that at all. In fact, there's a 2 out of 10 in each of those slopes. Slope with self is a 2 or 3 out of 10 relationships. You're not doing great at that. You're about a 2 or 3. And of course your work, you're just doing it for money and paying the mortgage, and it's something that you're not happy with. I'm saying despite all that, you can do purpose now. I'm saying you can start to articulate what is really important for you. You can even not articulate what's important for you other than you starting to live into you being and doing and actioning as if you are on purpose. Okay, let me explain. So, how do we do that? You can start to step fully into a territory of the king, of the queen, that allows you to be in that and live into and you're evoked into that aliveness of a king, of a queen. What does that mean? Instead of being a warrior that we're all running around trying to make money and be successful, which I'm going to say is over here in this camp, in the work camp, you're not the warrior, you're not the hero trying to just, put an end to that nut that you're involved with financially every month. But now you step into actually what it would be like to fully live from that place of your arrival. In other words, you do as if you are living from that. Because if that place as if would give you fulfillment, which so much of the research says now, fulfillment leads to the deepest levels of success, people, planet, profit. It even leads to real success. Happiness and fulfillment now, and you starting to be grateful and journaling and meditating, and Sean Acker and the positive psychology people do a wonderful job of expressing this, but it's also been known for thousands of years in the yogic traditions, the ancient traditions, and the mystery traditions, that you have to own this territory now, as if you are living this. And I call that the king and the queen. So lots of people are coming to me, MTK, saying you've got to talk about what you do privately about helping people into the king and into the queen. Okay, so here we are. This is now giving up the warrior, just running around like an entrepreneur, being Mr. Productive or Miss Productive, and being so addicted to that, and you can't even get off, and it's just a to-do list after to-do list after to-do list. You're like the busy Baxon, right? You're the hare and the tortoise of the hare story. But then there's another part of you that we talked about that just is the tortoise that just tumbles along, steady Eddie, wins the race, quietly, calmly. But my point is that the king and the queen need to dance in both of these worlds. If you really understand the deepest understanding of that story about the tortoise and the hare, who wins the race? Yes, tortoise and the hare win the race. We step into times where we need to be busy and getting shite done and getting full on engaged and being as productive as possible. But there are also times where we need to just relax into our relationships and really be there and be present and rest into making a meal together, making love, making art, music, and all of that, right? We've talked about that, the individual get shit done mode is we're climbing up Freedom Mountain, we're doing our thing we gotta do, where it's very much a solo thing. But at the base, in the village and down in the valley, it's much slower, it's more relaxed, and we can rest into that. So living this rhythm of both of those is the king, is you living your purpose now. Does that make sense? So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying it in different ways, that you can live your purpose now. You do as if you were living into the realm of you being that person you want to be now. And you deepen into who you are in terms of your self-care, but you also, you're good at getting things done, right? You're doing both those. If both of those things are added together, that's the king. That's the queen. That's the king and queen in all of us, but it's also the king and the queen that walk outside that people see. And when people see a king and a queen walking down the street, they take notice. Somebody will notice a king walking in the door. God, there's a presence. There's a nobility of soul. There's a wholeness that's there. And it's genuine. We're talking about genuine. The king is a queen, is a genuine king, a genuine queen, not the schlock we have out there in the world, people. There are a lot of false kings. There are a lot of tyrannical kings. There's a warmth in a genuine true king and a true queen. There's a warmth of genuineness. There's a warmth of generosity of spirit, but also, generosity of time and energy, and sometimes money. You do what needs to be done. So genuine, think 3 Gs, genuine, generosity, and the generativity of it. When you fully stand up in this, you can't help this but be generative. What does that mean? It means that you start to propel, you start to be that pebble that ripples out into the village. When you come around, all these positive things start happening. People start to get more creative. They start to have more courageous conversations. They stop talking about stupid shite. They start talking about things that really matter. Remember? Matter means Mother Earth, means that we are matter. We have bones. We are this. We're all so concerned about the environment, or so many of us are. Then let's be speaking about, as a king and a queen, a genuine, generous, and generative king and queen, about things that really matter to us. Not just about making money. It's that so many people have come into my office and, of course, they've got to the top of Freedom Mountain in terms of their finances. They haven't got up to the top of Freedom Mountain in so many other areas, so their relationships suck and their health is terrible. They'll be lucky to live another couple of years, and now they're starting to go, whoa, wait a minute. So money isn't the whole thing. A king is interested in standing in the full rhythm of his realm and really being able to move in and out of a village and to the top of Freedom Mountain, owning the territory, the realms of the 3 territories. Right? We're not talking about owning the whole world. That's just hallucinatory, people. Come on. If we happen to be running a company, you be a genuine leader. You start to be a generous leader. You start to be a generative leader. You start to be a courageous leader. You're interested in generosity. You're interested in courageous conversations. You're interested in bringing the boldness that has genius, power, and magic to people. the medicine, the treasure that you have inside of you, that ancient one, that king, that queen, it's all there. So stepping into purpose now is doing as if you are going to live into that evoked and that person you need to be, which is the king. My teachers are called the ancient one. Some of my teachers call it the king. Some people call it the queen. Some people call it all of the above. Don't get hung up on the labels. The idea is to now have every conversation that you have during a day in a way that allows you to be genuine, generous, and generative. That means warm eyes people. I've talked to you about warm eyes before. It's on my website. It's about seeing people and really hearing people. It's about, getting stuff done. The king employs the warrior, the entrepreneur, the get shit done person to get things done, right? The king is the one that brings in the lover at the right time. The king is the one that brings in the magician, if necessary, or the clown, right, to have fun. But it's the king that is owning the realm. Has got the flagpole. This is who I am, and these are my people that work for me. Right? It's not the warrior just keeps going and becomes interested, and becomes narcissist and so addictive to all sorts of things. Now can't relax and and ends up stuck in this mediocrity, even though they profess to be a uber, whatever, business person or what have you. There's a warmth to the king that I'm talking about. There's a warmth to the queen. You've heard of the ice queen? Well, this is the warm queen. There's a coldness that you see in our leaders out there that is calculating, that is brittle, that is not very robust. But it has a lot of money in it, and it has a lot of power in behind it. So if we don't mobilize the king and queen in you, we're going to end up voting in a king and queen that is a false king and queen. And we're seeing a lot of that in our culture, politically in different countries and in different leaderships in different companies, and even in our own families. It's brutal what's going on. So we got to give up the tyrannical leadership, which is really just ends up perpetuating same old, same old. There's a whole swing back to this tyrannical leadership that's going on in the world. I'm pleading to you is to really start now speaking about what matters, what's true for you, what has always been true for you in every conversation you have every day. In the next video, I'm going to talk about what that exactly means in terms of having that conversation and how the king and queen starts to conduct themselves, starts to move from this place of, now, not, the purpose is to bring your aliveness, and that king and that ancient one is fully, think Yoda, right? But if we had all the Jedi warriors running the show and just serving themselves, they serve the larger king, the larger realm. So this is all an internal story about deep democracy inside of you, but it's also within your family and the next ripple out. It's also in your relationship, right? How to be able to do that so you be the king and invite the queen to come and sit by the throne with you. You be the queen and invite the king up to there. No, let's stop everybody else running around and being princesses and princesses, or the false queens that are running around, just demanding all sorts of, like, there's a shadow king, there's a shadow queen. Not pretty. So next time I'm going to talk about how you embody this even more in a very skillful way in your conversations. That's the hint. And I'll show you how to do that. I'll see you soon.